Finish him off. If you can't do it, then maybe you should let someone who can, like me.
I'm the man, yes sir, that killed a bear barehanded so the people won't forget it. Getting money for I would label the drink. I care what a broke nigga think.
Just like the pack of Lewiz.
Look, everything I do so cold. I can do this, both eyes closed. Too short, I stay on my toes. About that guap boy, anything goes. Help the bear if we outside. Help the bear if we outside. Still tipping, baby, nothing changed. We still grinding over here, yeah. Still sliding through my own lane. Shorty, nothing funny over here. Dallas rain everywhere around me. Dream to get money. Made it through the storm, living sunny. Dreams came true, now we eating. I got more dreams to chase, gotta reach them. Trying to put a team together like the Hunger Games. Everybody grind together, we all came from hunger pain.
We'll see. That's right. Lay Ill Kid at OneYoungsta. Hold it down. Bring that StreetGeek NERDSoul. What is up, my people? Today, all year, coming with another wonderful episode of On Screen. We are talking about live action television. And we're getting into what we're going to talk about.
Boba Fett.
That's right. We talk about Boba Fett. Boba Fett or Mandalorian?
Boba Fett, Mandalorian.
All right, cool. So, I am not by myself. I am joined by an awesome panel, and we might have someone coming through in a second. Oh, we do. All right.
RJ Brew.
We got
Hannibal Taboo.
All right.
And
Solar Gray.
Solar Gray.
Yes.
Yeah.
Up in the
My man.
Up in the spot. So,
talk about Boba Fett.
yes.
He's taking over the show. He's taking over.
Mandalorian.
As you can see, he got this. So,
yeah.
right over here,
We got a new host. All right.
RJ, say what's up.
What's up? What's going on, everybody? It's your boy RJ. You can find me on YouTube at the Nerdy Brew. And you could also find me on Instagram at RJ Nerdy Brew 315. And we got some things to discuss. This is a deep one.
Yes, and in the diagonal corner, we got Hannibal Taboo. Say what's up.
What's good? My name is Hannibal Taboo. I'm the head comics reviewer at bleedingcool.com. I also do reviews on the iHeartRadio podcast Nerdorama with Mo and Tawala, and DJ a mix show Sunday nights at 11 p.m. on 101.5 FM in Los Angeles, lpfm.la in your browser. That's KQBH LP, a community service of the Boyle Heights Arts Conservatory.
All right, and last but not least, Solar Gray. Say what's up.
Hey, what is going on? This is Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, coming at you from the Wizard's Tower. And you can find me over at twitch.tv/BID_P, where we talk about all things nerdy and how the concepts of these things can help you live the life that you actually want to live, probably instead of the life that you already got. You can also find me on the social media that we all have and no one likes, being Instagram, Twitter, and of course that wretched hive of scum and villainy, yet disseminator of unfathomable and uncontrovertible truths, Facebook. Okay, fine. That was a joke. It didn't land. But you can hit us up over on.
It was just sadness for that.
Yeah.
It's
really
not that it wasn't a bad. It was a bad joke.
It's all ennui that we got from that.
Yes. Ennui. Yes, it was ennui. But if you want to get past that ennui, even past your, one would call it malaise, join Deckers on the Book, where we can actually get together. We can talk and all that stuff. You can show us pictures of what you're working on, your cosplay, your miniatures, what comics you're working on, your concept art, and put up your fanfic. We'll happily read it and tell you how awesome it is. So that's where you can get a hold of us.
All right. Well, okay. All right. Chapter 6, there's a lot in it. And we're going to try to go as fast as possible because these gentlemen donate their time. But there's a lot to go through. I'll start right here. because we might as well get this out of the way because I know Hannibal and we got to talk about the Jedi. All right.
Come on.
Look. Okay. Well, no. You know what? Before we do Jedi, I'll say this. Can we all agree that there probably wasn't a real plan for a full Boba Fett show? Like I feel like they had.
I can't agree to that.
I feel like they had like 2 or 3 hot episodes, and it was like, yo, we got some stuff we ain't really wrap up for Mandalorian. Want to do that too? Shy. Like,
I can't agree to that.
I gotta say to Nano, my brother, just because I can't see the plan does not mean it does not exist.
Yeah, but we also got that same kind of speak from Lucasfilm for the sequels. We got the same kind of speak, and then way after there was like, all right, you got us.
I'm sorry. If we're going to try to slander the name of Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni on the same boat with J.J. Abrams, the man who made Star Trek Into Darkness, no, sir. I will not stand for it. I will not have it. We will not
I have to correct
all
you.
I'm saying
It's
is like,
Star Trek Into Darkness because there was no colon. So it's Trek Into Darkness, not Star Trek Into Darkness. You see that? That's
nitpicking. That's nitpicking.
That is proper English, my good man. Proper English.
It was Star Trek Into Awful. Whitewashing my con.
You know what's sad? Me and my lady, we love those movies. That's crazy. I was the reboot target demographic they wanted for that. That's me. I'm super proud with J.J. Abrams.
I'll be over to have a talk with you, Jay.
In all honesty, I get where people are mad at Into Darkness, but it entertained me. Now, I get where people are mad. I understand it, but I'm like, this is still a fun watch. Like, not saying that I'm going to be like, this should get an Oscar.
I can't stay awake through that movie. And I try so hard.
Just thinking about Into Darkness makes me angry. Just thinking about it makes me angry.
What doesn't at this point? I mean, really.
All right, so let's look at this. Boba Fett's like, yo, man, I got my show, Book of Boba Fett. People like, yeah, like, yo, come see me. Yo, my performance is on Friday night. I'm going to be performing live, all right? And then everybody come, you get on the stage, you do one song, right? And then somebody else that already had 2 concerts comes and just starts doing the show. And you like, yeah.
Can I give 2 examples here? Can I give 2 examples?
I say what?
I went to go see Dilated People at the Temple Bar in Los Angeles. And they had an opening act that blew them all of the way off the stage and performed. I mean, it was sick. Dilated was good, but the opening act was insanely good. So sometimes you got people, I mean, it happened to what's name? Main Source on Live on the Barbecue. Nas came in, and he's the only person people talk about. I also want to know, if you look in the book of Mark in the Bible or the book of John, there's not a whole lot about Mark or John. There's a whole lot about Jesus.
True.
So,
yeah.
You know, I'm just saying, you put a book together with a bunch of characters. I know this as an author.
I get it.
So are you saying, lo, if you turn to the book of Boba Fett, it doth just say that Din Djarin doth gave the holy shirt. You know, I mean, really.
But the book of Boba Fett, it's not looking good for your boy Boba. Like the first 2-3 episodes, I was like, all right, word. And then even episode 4, I was like, word, or 5, I was like, word up, a little taste from your man Mando when we go back to season 3. But then episode 6, I was like, oh snap! So are we going back? Then when we go back, Boba in there for like 2 seconds, like.
First of all, that's on brand, and second of all, he gets paid to star in the show and don't have to work that hard. What's better than that?
You know what? You're
Maybe
right.
A different title.
Yeah, because right now this is totally looking. Right now, this is looking like the Book of Tatooine rather than the Book of Boba.
Yeah, though.
Yeah, Antoine Allen says that Rodriguez said last summer that Boba Fett is Mandalorian 2.5. I didn't know it until I looked it up just now. So, okay.
Well, if you see somebody in a helmet armor, every episode is a Mandalorian episode. If you really think about it.
Okay. So
Well, that puts
Hannibal.
rebels in a new context.
So Hannibal, let's talk about Jedi and why they don't never learn that.
Okay, the Jedi are the worst. Let me break out my soliloquy here. So the Jedi, when they were at their height, the Jedi at their power did not recognize the danger of trying to suppress attachments. In the creation of the Lost 20, in the creation of Tar Vizsla in the first part, who abandoned the order to go back to Mandalore and do all these things. They don't recognize this danger. When they were at their height, when they had tens of thousands of them and all the resources and all the power. Luke, as I often have to remind people, is an undereducated hick from a backwoods planet who was radicalized by a religious cult into becoming a child soldier to murder tens of thousands of people and then continue this heretic religion throughout the galaxy to cause more mayhem. As such,
So you're saying he's an jump TA?
It sounded like a bunch of you just said a bunch of consonants, which is most of the kids in my high school class. But sure, why not? Anyway,
He's like an jump teacher's assistant. Like he got through junior college, then all the other professors died. Now he's the only one left, so I guess he's the professor now.
Through junior college, I'd feel confident from. He is a redshirt freshman. He has walked onto the team. He is a redshirt freshman with natural talent, but no clue of what he's doing. And the playbook has been burned. So this is what we got, and this is how it's going down. So Luke is like, I guess I read this is what Jedi do. I got these books over here. I found them. I don't really understand all the languages because really I only have a 7th grade reading level. But you know, I'm working my way through it.
Yeah,
So,
I
what we got.
honestly, I'm only throwing jokes because you're spitting truth. Just truth bomb.
I was angry. I was like, Luke, don't do this. It doesn't have to be like this.
But it
Like,
does, because remember, this is in continuity. To get to Last Jedi, you
Yeah.
have to have him fail. He has to ruin everything that he did. Every bit of hope that you had in him from the original trilogy has to die. And he has to fail at everything he accomplished and murder many more people needlessly before he can learn any lessons.
I was just hoping for a slower descent, you know? I mean, here's the
It
thing.
has been
Throughout
9 years since at Yavin. It's been 9 years.
Yeah, but when you look at Luke as a character, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. He was always Captain Facepalm, you know? From wanting to go to Tashi Station to pick up some power converters to, but they'll die if I don't, to, oh my God, my hand, to, if you will not turn to the dark side, perhaps she will. What you say about my sister? You know, I mean, he has those moments and they're big moments that crumble just about everything. The smaller moments, I was fine with the failures of Luke's smaller moments when he was a student, you know, when he couldn't pick up the X-Wing. And I even appreciate the fact that we are looking at these smaller failure moments as Luke is learning to teach, because it is a skill that if you grew up in public school, especially in a disenfranchised factor, you know that not a lot of teachers have it. But simultaneously, yeah. I'm really disappointed with Luke, because he hasn't learned the lesson of his own bloody story, because it was his commitment to family, his love of sister, and his emotional commitment to a universe, an entire universe, that made him win in Return of the Jedi in the first place. You know?
Solar. I was gonna say all of what you just said. That's exactly where I was at. His whole basis as an individual was attachment, right? And it was attachment for the right cause, knowing that his father's restrictions to attachment led him to the dark side. So he's like, you know what? Let me have it in a healthy fashion of what makes it beneficial, advantageous, right? And now,
I mean, isn't the light side about introspection?
Exactly.
Oh, no, the light side is about dogma. It's about dogma.
Exactly. And with that being about dogma and the religious restrictions about it, I'm gonna say this. For me, I take George Lucas's gospel. I take his word as absolute fact, and I take his word as the one that, you know, narrated and curated this world. Luke was the only one to bring back his father. He said that. And so now, with him diverting or reverting back to the ways that allowed the Jedi to fall, I'm like, where is Force Ghost Anakin to be like, nah, I don't think you should do that. But, and as I said, as George Lucas being gospel, as I said, I give it fell down to Disney power shit. That's what I give it down to, is down
Now,
to Disney and what they're doing.
On what you said, not even an Anakin Force Ghost. You got Anakin, you got Obi-Wan, you got Yoda. Then you have someone who is alive right there. Ahsoka Tano. She done lived it. She was persecuted herself from a Jedi Order that had lost its way. And the best you got is just, hey, do your thing. Like, what? What are you doing?
Yeah, and then I chop it for Disney.
I am not. If my son wakes up tomorrow and has the powers of the Force, which is essentially telekinesis and being able to be, you know, empathic, you feel people die on the other side of the galaxy or whatever,
and precognizance and
precognizance, and I'm not going to be like,
and the ability to talk to animals, and
because I forgot we added all kinds of powers. Don't get me started, but we added all kinds of powers.
No, that's all just from New Hope, Empire, and Jedi. That's it.
Those are Lucas editions.
Yeah.
Yes, but what I'm saying is
that was stuff in the EU.
Yeah, we threw in some stuff in the sequels as well. We added a couple things, but the bottom line is, I'm not just going to be like, well, you know, do what you feel. No, I'm not going. Okay, I get the reference to Wolf and Cub. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Look, I love the Wu-Tang. You know what I'm saying? I know the Jizza album. I know the reference, but I'm not going to say, because the second he pulled out the little chainmail, it was so cute, little like 2T. It was like a little 2T size.
Yeah.
And the second he set it over on his left side, I was like, Luke, don't make him do this. He's a kid. And of course, what did he do? Then he pulls out, but you can have both.
He assured that we will have
You love talking about balance. Why you ain't talking about balance now?
No, he assured that we are going to have Grogu in Mandalorian season 3. That was he was telling the audience, hey, that little dome on that speeder, that we left that there for a reason.
That's for Grogu.
Yeah,
baby
G. Yep.
I mean, it could have been done. Like the writer side of me is going, really? Hold up, Luke. Hold up. I get the Force is for knowledge and defense. I get that the Force is your ally. I get that. But you know what? You had Han. You had Leia. You have an X-Wing. You ain't using the Force to freaking fly through space. You got a lightsaber, which means the Jedi use tools. So I'm just thinking. And this is why I am a gray wizard, not light or dark. But I'm just thinking, if you gave Padawans gear that helped them not get eviscerated by lightsabers, you would probably have a lot more Jedi if that is what you are looking for. You know.
Let me hop in here real quick. First of all, I have to remind you again that Luke is an undereducated hick from a backwoods planet. He doesn't know Beskar from biscuits. He doesn't know what the shirt does.
That's fair. That's
ignorant
fair.
Man.
Yeah,
so first
fair.
of all, there's this weird metal shirt. That's kinky, but hey, whatever. I'm not here to kink shame.
There's no way he doesn't know what chainmail is, though, or the chainmail of the galaxy. You know what I'm saying?
There is a lot of ways he doesn't know because there's so many things that Luke does not know. So I have to first say that. But second, I want to step back from this, not from the episode writer, but look at the story group. The story group has a problem, right? They have a job that they have to fit multiple different creators' voices into one consistent continuity and make it work. Mark Gruenwald had the same problem with Marvel Comics. What's the name? When they were doing Crisis on Infinite Earths, the DC Comics was saying, it was like,
Mark
take all
Wolfman,
this stuff and make this fit into one story. Now, we don't like some of the things that went after that we have to make this story line up with, but we got to make them line up nonetheless. So we got to do the best possible job we can in doing this. And if we grab this Lone Wolf and Cub reference that people will recognize, that's cool. And if we do this part, and if we also play on the fact that, right, Luke don't know nothing about nothing. He's 28 years old, and he's completely not learned anything in his entire time in the galaxy. He's not learned anything.
There are moments in his training where you're like, yeah, you're doing a good job. I see you. You know, you're conversating with him. You're showing him about
that's the talent. That's the natural talent. That's the midichlorians player. That ain't nothing but that.
Not the midichlorians though.
Bloodline.
Yeah, you know
it's
what?
like he does so many great things.
Look, I see all of this. Yeah, I see all of this, and you know what? This is one of the rare episodes where Hannibal and I are on the exact same page all the way through. I think we actually have a universal, what is the term? We are a unanimous consensus in the sense that this could have been better by leaps and bounds, but it was good enough for what they had to work with. Okay. And I'm going to look at this based on what they had to work with versus what they promised. Okay. Or at least versus the promise of the premise as it was translated. Okay. This episode, as I said last week, it better be leading up to something great, because we went on the rise of Vito Corleone in the Book of Boba Fett. Then we had intermission, and it's like somebody changed the channel. You know, commercial break happened with the Book of Boba Fett. Somebody changed the channel to The Mandalorian, and the Mandalorian episode was good. Then they changed the channel again to the Rise of the Jedi Academy. So what I'm seeing is the Book of Boba Fett is setting all these pieces in place with the rise of the spice trade, the Boba Fett taking over Tatooine, the death of Timothy Oliphant, which makes me sad because unlike a lot of people,
we don't know. He might, they brought out the med pack.
All right, the shooting of Timothy Oliphant. We know that the deputy is dead, and he wasn't dead enough. He could have been more dead. You know, I mean, I was kind of hoping for him in parts, but that bounty hunter that you have to be familiar with the expanded lore, unless you got to be like me and watch a whole lot of freaking YouTube videos to find out who that guy with the hat was. I was hoping for him to be in pieces and all that jazz. So we've got the rising threat of the syndicate, which is cool. I'm like, okay, we got like, oh, no. You're still watching the same show. Trust me, you're still watching the same show. And I'm very patient with narratives. Okay. I really am. Okay. I'm losing my passion for Boba Fett. You know, in this show, I was like, you know what? Boba Fett, the crime lord. I'm really digging what I see. But I'm not going to get mad at the writers because I'm so media savvy. Okay, I'm not going to do that because the scene in the club, they walk in. Perhaps we can wash your helmets. I'm like, oh, stop it. Just get a new line. And then it was like they get up, they leave, and I'm like, yep, that's a bomb.
I'm like they left when they was walking out. I was like, yo, they left. It's a bomb. That's a bomb.
That's a Godfather reference.
It came around to me later, but it came around to me in this this most recent episode. Is that they're using the euphemism of polishing helmets. I don't know if anybody else got that.
Oh no, I got it.
I got it.
They don't polish your helmet.
This is a family show. This is a family show.
Yeah.
I was watching it. I'm like,
that's why they send an attractive Twi'lek of each sex. Would you like your helmet polished?
Yeah, your helmet polished.
Whatever you like.
Family show. This is a family show. This is a family show. We're not covering that.
So yeah, I mean, I caught it. And again, when you look at Jennifer Beals as the head of that bar, okay, then you're a little young for this, RJ, but you know, What a Feeling from Irene Cara still hits through the head. So we all know.
No, he didn't. Hannibal said,
You know.
All right, now Jenna James comes through and says, basically, it just seems like the show, or at least season 1, if we get more, was just about establishing the rebirth of Boba via the Tuskens in the past as he tries to get the lay of the land and take hold of his power on Tatooine in the present. It's been decent in my opinion, but could have been more engaging. And as much as I have liked the past 2 episodes, maybe they should have just saved this for Mando season 3.
Agreed.
And to which I was, well, here's the,
Wow.
and we keep talking about this, like, the concerns we have with it. Could this be a better story? Yes. Could this be better Star Wars? No. This is
No,
this is the
for Star Wars,
Star Wars.
I'm having fun as Star Wars. Like I'm having fun watching this.
So we also have to remember that, I mean, for as much as, because I live and breathe Star Wars, and I absolutely do, I recognize gigantic narrative and storytelling flaws in A New Hope and Return of the Jedi especially. Mm-hmm. I recognize the flaws and the weaknesses in George's direction and his skill as a filmmaker and his skill as a storyteller.
Again, the best movie of the whole series was directed by Kirshner.
Yeah,
you know?
So that doesn't mean that this isn't fantastic Star Wars. That just means you're not going to see this up with Citizen Kane. This is not going to be able to rock with, you know, American Beauty. You're not going to be able to put this up as a cinematic classic. This is going to be some entertainment, which is all George ever wanted. He was about serials. He was about those old pulpy things that you used to see in those cheap theaters. That's what he always wanted to make, and that's what he did with enormous success. So I believe, for me, every time I hear somebody say, "Oh, there's not enough Boba Fett," I'm like, what? Vader didn't show up for a long time. Luke didn't show up for the first 20 minutes of A New Hope. He's not even in the first 20 minutes of the movie. There's specific reasons and patience that people show this film clip of George a lot of times. It's like poetry, it rhymes. Where he intentionally delays the presentation of a protagonist. He intentionally holds back the character that you think that you want to see to show you some other stuff to set stuff up. That's all built into Star Wars. That's all built into ring theory. That's all built into a lot of traditional filmmaking things that he learned at USC very intentionally. So I got no beef with that because I see what he's doing. If you want something else, maybe you need to go check out the Criterion Collection because this ain't it.
Yeah,
Now, Eon 001 says they need to rebrand the show as Tales from Tatooine and just go wild with different characters.
Boom.
And I think that kind of lends itself. I think it kind of lends itself to Solar's statement of the kind of like the promise of the premise, because like the premise, at least the idea that they gave off from the trailer was like, oh snap, it's gonna be Boba, yo. It's gonna be Boba Fett doing his thing, and we did see some of his doing his thing, but now we're like, did we miss something?
Well, honestly,
what happened? Am I missing an episode?
If you look at all the screen stuff, okay, it starts with Star Wars. We were promised a Star War. We got a Star War. And then A New Hope. Okay, well, why is there no hope? Oh, look at that big old ship swallowing that little ship. Oh, baby ship. Look at that cute white lady with cinnamon buns on her head. Oh, what are they doing? What is that floating robot there? You know,
Solar,
man,
can
this
I
must
say
be a crappy
that's
place.
No moon?
Huh?
Can I say that's no moon?
Exactly. You know, then we get, you know, Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. In this war, the Empire slapped the crap out of it. Luke lost his hand. The audience lost their pirate. We got introduced to the black guy, so you know that pretty much like is the Empire striking back at most of America. You know, and then the Jedi Order returns in the third Star Wars. So we got this war, right? And then we got The Mandalorian. It gave us The Mandalorian. And it was like, we got a Mandalore. We got more about Mandalore, you know, excuse me, even the movies, even the sequels was like, Star Wars, The Last Jedi, all that other stuff. This one is Star Wars. Well, right now, I'm not seeing much of a Star War since this is post Return of the Jedi. There's really not much of a war, and if there is a war, I'm seeing gang war, I'm seeing turf war, but I'm not really seeing Star War. And then it says the Book of Boba Fett. Now, that is a very lawyer kind of trick there, because it's like, this is the Book of Boba Fett. Now, Hannibal nailed it when he talked about the Book of Mark, the Book of Luke, the Book of John, because the Book of Kings was about kings, had a whole bunch of kings, had King Solomon, had King Jared, and the Book of Mark gives us the impression, well, this book is going to be about Mark, not the book written by Mark, and it's pulling a very Lord of the Rings thing. Because the Lord of the Rings was Sauron, not Frodo, not a hobbit, So, but we get this Book of Boba Fett. So, since all the other titles gave us the premise, a promise, and lived up to it on varying levels of quality throughout the 9 movies. Okay, well, throughout the 11 movies, is it? Yeah,
there's
11
more movies in that.
Huh? 11.
Solo, Rogue. Is it 11 now?
Yeah, it's
Rogue,
the 9
Solo.
of the main one, Rogue One, Solo.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's 11.
Rogue One.
Because we don't talk about the holiday special. But yeah, so with all that, they have groomed us to expect what we were going to see on screen to be what is in the title. So we were promised the Book of Boba Fett. And it's like, well, we said the Book of Boba Fett. You don't know if he wrote the book or if the book is about him. You'll have to wait till the end. And I think that's what's got a lot of people sitting on tax. Because
it's similar,
I can accept this kind of thing. But I don't live, breathe Star Wars. I don't think the Star Wars is life. Hannibal is absolutely right, where this is peak Star Wars. We are learning more about the Star Wars galaxy and the species that are in it and the political push and pulls and life on the outer rim. And we even know now that Mos is essentially the Tatooine name for city or town. Okay, so because we got Mos Eisley, we got Mos whatever, we got Mos cheesecake over there, So
now I'm hungry again.
Huh?
Now, speaking of that, Eon 001 says it's like ordering food, getting the wrong meal. It tastes good, but it's gonna feel weird because it's not what you ordered. Which is like I said, like this is great Star Wars. Like I'm enjoying what I'm seeing, but then I'm like, yo, what happened to Boba? Where'd he go?
I thought this was gonna be a Boba Fett cake. Oh no. Boba Fett made the cake. You see.
I'm gonna let RJ go and then I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna let RJ.
Yeah, I need to piggyback off of that comment. Because I had a private conversation about this episode, but I'm about to make it public now. So my whole analogy of y'all about to be privy to some stuff. But my whole analogy was like, all right, so I bought some tickets to an up-class show, right? Upscale show. I bought these tickets and I'm dressed up and I'm ready to go to this show. I go to this show and I'm expecting something real classical, real fancy. And then all of a sudden, it's gonna be like a whole musical performance narrative, but then Big Sean comes out and it's a concert, and I'm like, wait a minute, it's Big Sean. Oh, and he does a great performance. It's amazing. Big Sean dropping major bars. I love it. And then I sit back at the end of it, and then I say, wait a minute, I paid for a classical show. I went through all of this. I paid for a musical.
Exactly.
Where's my musical at? I was like, it was a
you
great
don't
show.
Pay for tickets to Hamilton, and then you
They're
show
like, that's our time,
you
y'all.
get
Good
dressed
night.
up for Hamilton and all that stuff, and then you get a 90s revival of like Rakim, Kumo D, LL Cool J, and Chuck D, and it's like, hold up, this is great, but I didn't dress for this. So now my tuxedo is all sweaty. It smells like E&J.
I'm glad that y'all brought this up, because this reminds me. Recently, my kids they've grown up essentially vegan, right? And they went on Uber Eats and found an Italian restaurant and ordered lasagna, right? And lasagna showed up at our house and it had beef in it. And they're like, "What is this?" I'm like, "It's lasagna." They're like, "But it's got beef in it." I'm like, "Most lasagna has beef in it." They're like, "But our lasagna's never." I'm like, "That's your ignorance speaking. You chose not to research this. You chose not to dig deep enough to find out the information." And with all due respect, the people who were talking about, "Oh, I ordered a book of Boba Fett. Oh, I ordered a classical," there's a hip hop orchestra in Los Angeles right now that I've seen play with what's name, Dr. Oop and other people, and people show up with these at the Disney concert hall with their little suits or whatever, and they come out rhyming, they come out spitting, because it's intended as a synthesis. Because if you do the research, which I know Americans don't do, I know they don't bother to read the 10, I know they don't bother to think about things, I know we're in a post-literate society, as they keep telling me, blah, blah, blah. But if you stop to look, and if you actually look at the details, you'll be like, "Oh, I see what this really is." If you look at Star Wars as a whole, you look at the Boba Fett, you're like, "Yep, this is exactly what they said they were going to give me. They're going to give me a book of Boba Fett, not about Boba Fett." Check yourselves before you check your research, because the entitlement my least favorite thing about Star Wars fans is their entitlement. "Oh, I asked for something and they didn't give it to me." You don't own anything. You don't deserve anything. So in a day when I'm eating this good, getting all this Star Wars, and I'm eating this good, I ain't got nothing to complain about. And literally, neither does anybody else.
In all honesty, and we have just lost the consensus agreement. I can't agree with you on that.
I don't
really
think
can't,
because we're getting a lot.
Yeah,
that it's
because
above
when it
critique.
comes to popular entertainment, the whole premise of popular entertainment versus arts and entertainment is that, one, the research is baked in. When you're going for the arts, that tends to require a little more research. However, once you understand something, such a drastic change in anything, especially when undeclared, that throws a wrench. Now, I'm with you on the fact that Star Wars fans are some of the most entitled and childish of all fandoms, okay? And don't even get me started on toxicity. But even a garbage fire brings some heat, all right? And when that comes out, when they're talking about the book of Boba Fett, and they gave no press, no releases that said this is going to be a book revolving around Boba Fett. They really gave no information in an age when fandoms do the research. You can't type in something like Boba Fett into Google or YouTube, two of the most popular internet sites out there, and not get the reasons why this is, what to expect from here, what we speculate on here, given these sources. And the people do the sources, and then they put those sources in their comments. So doing the research is huge, but we weren't promised a show that expands the Star Wars universe on this level. We were promised a show about Boba Fett.
Now,
I disagree hard.
Eon 001 says,
disagree.
LOL at gaslighting the audience. Nah, we were totally misdirected. He should work for Disney, though. Lawyer speak. Disney, y'all need to hire your boy Hannibal.
Nah, I got to stand up for my boy here, all right? This is not gaslighting. What we got are two different conversations at the same time, all right? He is a writer. I'm a filmmaker. And the thing about all of these things is that there are so many lenses you can see something through, all right? Hannibal looks at story, world building, continuity, and this show hits that on every single checkbox. I look at character development, character interactions, promises of the premise, and I prefer honesty in sales. So I'm all about being honest with the customer, not being honest with the other manufacturers. And that's where we're at right now. All right. Hannibal sees everything through the eyes of the manufacturer, and his taste is based on having grown up manufacturing these things. It's like it's like this new generation of rappers that have been iterating on all the stuff that came before, like Eric B. and Rakim, Wu-Tang, Jay-Z, you know, and now they're doing their own thing. You know, or using the basketball reference, this argument between Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron. Kobe and LeBron came in the generation that iterated upon what Jordan did, who iterated upon what
Dr. J.
Yeah, Dr. J and Kareem. Yeah, what Dr. J and Kareem did. So that's how he's looking at it. That's why he's getting what he wants. The question is, what lens are you looking through that makes it so that you are unhappy? This panel is for us to talk about all of our lenses.
Exactly.
You know,
Now,
And when you talk about lenses, the first thing that you brought up was this idea that research is baked into pop entertainment, which I frankly reject because of two reasons. First of all, in the spoiler culture that we now live in, companies work very hard to hide their hand, because if they don't, they just Netflix stuff. Any company that's doing weekly releases is hiding their hand a great deal. And second of all, and possibly most importantly of all, that the key element of popular entertainment, if it doesn't work, people stop buying it. The day that Star Wars starts losing money, they'll be like, you know what? You were right. We should have done this differently. But now, with as good as people eating, nah.
Yeah.
But I'll say this though, what comes with that is that it is a bait. It's a bait and switch. Because if you're because at a period of time, Star Wars did lose fanfare. They lost a core base of people that wanted to support it, due to the narrative and productions that they came out with. I'm really talking about the second movie. What was it? The Last Jedi. That derailed a lot of people from being supportive of Disney trilogy, the Disney trilogy.
Not financially.
There's a core group. And
yeah, but there's a new group, now, and there's new money.
There is exactly. And since there is a new group with new money, I think they're like, look what we have here. It's member berries. These are the member berries of Luke Skywalker. This is Ahsoka. Do you like this? Because we want you to like it so you can still keep consuming what we're bringing out, instead of just bringing out what really matters. Is just good quality, good stuff that, you know, we just want to watch.
Yeah, it kind
of goes. Janine comes through and says the Boba Fett episodes weren't bad. They were actually good, but these last two episodes were another level. Now, speaking of another level, we got through Luke and the bad ways of the Jedi, and Ahsoka, who was there the whole time during the 3 movies.
Please don't get me started again. Please don't get me started again.
Okay.
Please don't get me started again.
But Mando pulled up to the town, parked his car. Then some brand new fresh rookie, like, you can't park right there. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, where's cop, man? You can't park right here. Did you hear what I asked you? like, dude, it's like he pulled the Lambo to the front. He pulled the Lambo to the front. Then someone was like, yo, man, you can't park right here. He was like, threw his keys at him. Yo, and then Cobb Van came out like, yo, man, look, hey.
Nah, he cool.
Dude already started out like, yo, I'm going to get whooped up on this joint. Ended up catching the L, but he was already starting off on the wrong foot.
I got to say, that was pretty contrived writing. Because, hey, you can't park there. I'm looking to see the sheriff. You can't park there. You listen to me. That's pretty much the signal to the audience. Guess who's going to die in this episode? Who's behind 2 fingers and is about to die since we're bringing back all these people? That guy. Was he in The Mandalorian? Do you remember? I don't know, but he's being a jerk. He's so dead.
It's his fault for being in a space western. It's his fault.
I mean,
D.C. Andre said that deputy was a red shirt. Yeah, he had a red shirt the whole time on. He knew.
Can we give it up to the bartender? We
He was
seriously
also
give-
on he was on that other show, Justified. The bartender played a character on Justified with Timothy Olyphant as well. So they like, can I bring my boy? Can he get some money?
Like, here's my issue with the bartender. First, nobody talking to you. All right. When I talk to you, I'ma talk to you. I'm over here. Mind your
doing
business.
his business.
Man,
You are literally in his business. He is the owner of that bar. He can go into any conversation. If you don't want him going in, find somewhere else to talk.
Mind your business.
You don't come into my house saying this is a private conversation. You take that crap outside.
For a normal person, this is Mando. You don't tell Mando go nowhere. Mando go where he want to go. Or we can put you on a table and slice you in half. What you want. You know what I'm saying? Like I said,
I take the table. Still my house. Still my house.
I let you have this house. Hold on. What did Tupac
You know what?
say? What did Tupac say to old boy when he was like, I let you live. And he was like, Rodamez, you can't walk your block without Rodamez. He's like, Mando's like, I let you live. I let you have this bar. You know what I'm saying? Like you.
oh, speaking about the bar, did you see the architecture? The decor of the dragon on the inside.
Yeah,
that was crazy to see that. That was a good
that
call.
I helped kill. That was me. I did that.
Yeah, that's great.
Gave you power. I made you buck wild.
Yeah, that's great.
But
then you
like
should respect the power that you gave me and take this conversation outside if you don't want me in this conversation. Especially since you're trying to convince him to ask for my help.
And as
so you don't go into somebody else's house and talk about them and then tell them to shut up. That's villain.
If we're realizing, let's realize that the power you're talking about was bequeathed to you from me and can be brought back whenever I feel like it. Two, remember that I'm talking to the sheriff about sheriff business. I ain't talking about citizen business. If I want to learn how to make a Shirley Temple, I'll holler at you. But now, we talking about the Pikes. All right?
What sheriff business are you talking about?
Forming a relationship with who? That sounded a lot more like me than I do right now.
It was just crazy. It was just crazy that man, like, first of all, it was an A and B conversation. He saw himself in. And then another thing, he was talking for everybody. What are you talking for everybody for? This is personal business. That was crazy.
Because power is disconnected from the people that it has power over. Okay, in truth, every powerful person needs a regular person coming in and going, hold on, no.
Yeah.
No, factory workers don't do that. No, we ain't.
Jamal the intern.
Huh?
Jamal the intern.
Yes, sir. You know? So I'm with the bartender. I'm like,
Jamal the intern, no. Oh man.
You know, but yeah, so I'm just look, I'm just saying I like the fact that he spoke up and he's like, nah. Because it also showed Mando, this is probably gonna be hard. And I am looking at the big picture, but every hero has got to be reminded of how the big picture affects the small. And that is why I really appreciate it. Because remember, the story played out, him going, nah, we ain't going to war. We just want to be left alone. We want to be left alone to do our business. And then that other bounty hunter showed up.
Mando told him before they left, he's like, look, they here now. And you think all they want is Mos Eisley? You think all they want is Mos wherever Boba is? They here now. It's not.
Yeah, you see, this was grounding the story in realism, because if that actually worked, we would all be getting paid decent wages. We'd all have health care that ain't tied to our job, and the planet wouldn't be on fire.
Let's not also
and
forget,
everybody would be out there voting every 2 years.
Forget the Cobb Vance. Think it through. The Cobb Vance kicked over a whole bunch of their spice, expensive spice in the middle of the desert.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody's gonna come knocking, and they got some things to say.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, most definitely. But you know what I got from that whole scene of that conversation between Mando and Cobb about with one thing affects another. It made me think of episode 1 of how Qui-Gon went to the Gungans and said, what's happening up top is going to definitely happen out here. Mm-hmm. It's a symbiotic relationship on the planet. And then also another lesson learned is there's always a bigger fish. So going through, episode 1, they went through down in the water, and the pikes are the bigger fish. So that's one thing that
they're literally the bigger fish because they're fish.
Well, see,
it's they're literally fish.
Yeah, you see, it's like poetry. Yeah. You see, they rhyme. You see.
Wait, let me give my Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yo, we like the wind was blowing. There was a little sand in all of our eyes. We were sitting down watching TV. There was a little sand. We was like, "Oh, what is that?" Oh, ho. Then I was like, because when it was the first shot, I was like, "Don't y'all do this." Then it was a little bit closer. You saw a hat. I was like, "Don't y'all do this. Don't you do it to me." And then when he got close, I said, "It's my." Lady Lisa was right beside me. I was banging the table as softly as I could because the little guy was asleep. But I was like, they done brought my boy.
Yeah. So I don't know if y'all know the channel, but I'm very honest on my channel, and I do reactions seriously. Nobody saw my reaction, and I wish I recorded it because I'm like, wait. Is it who I think it is? And then he keeps getting closer and closer. And I'm like, it's him. Yeah.
I was like, man.
I went crazy about it.
See, I don't know who that character is.
That's when they take those member berries and they know how to drop them in the right spot.
Drop them. It sounds like they shoved them immediately in your irises, going, remember this guy? Because, again, I didn't know who that character was. I'm just like, oh, a shadowy figure behind the heat squiggles. Wait, did I just hear a whistle? Right. And I'm like, this is not going to be good. Yeah, this is not going to end well. I know this trope. Yeah. I know this trope very well. So hopefully they got Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer in the next episode of The Mandalorian. Just
Din Djarin and Boba Fett. Yeah.
So, you know what? That well played. Well played, sir.
And Solar. It's gonna be a 360 cycle for Boba Fett with dealing with Cad Bane. Bane was trained by Django, and then Cad Bane trained Boba. Well, you did watch the cartoon, he was trained by Boba, and now these two are at the pinnacle of their game. So now they're coming to the head next episode.
Are you sure they're at the pinnacle? Because Boba seems a little on that down downstroke.
Cad Bane is even older than Boba Fett. Cad Bane,
he's even older.
Which is the interesting part, because his skin used to be a much darker version of blue. He's dried out with age because he's old now. His hat used to be much bigger. He's got to get a smaller hat, downsize him.
So his back is giving out. He needs a lighter hat.
Exactly.
Like, my neck ain't what it used to be, so I had to get a smaller hat.
Well, also because, and this is not exactly extra canonical, but it's in material that was a deleted scene, that Cad Bane and Boba Fett had their partnership ended in a rivalry where the dent on Boba's helmet, Cad Bane put that dent there.
Okay.
In a showdown, that the only person that because his thing is he's the fastest gun in Star Wars. Cad Bane's faster than anybody. He'll full blast anybody. The only person who ever rode with him, who caught up to him, was a young Boba Fett.
Okay. All right. So
in the same shoulder where Cad Bane shot Cobb Vanth.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's a lot of nice little member berries. I'm looking.
It's like poetry. It all rhymes.
Well, whether this is poetry or not, with scenes like this, Star Wars, feel free to completely rip off Tombstone and Unforgiven. It's fine. Shooting in the desert is cheap. I know you guys know that. That's why we did this whole show. So feel free to do those shows. Do those movies. Feel free, because I would enjoy that.
Honestly, I hope they rip off a little bit of Blazing Saddles.
No, that Blazing Saddles is funny, but Blazing Saddles would not work now.
Huh?
No.
Are you kidding? Mando and Boba talking, and Boba going, "Yeah, I used to be the best bounty hunter out here. Look at this. It's steady as a rock. Yeah, but this is the one I shoot with." You know, I could see that.
Now-
Excuse me while I whip this out, and out comes the Rancor.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Hannibal-
the sheriff is a
Hannibal, I have
Mando.
a
Oh, ding, ding. You know, I mean, it's. So,
Hey, Hannibal, I do have a question. I don't know what kind of information that you do know, but when we look at the flashback for Grogu and the 3 Jedi that were protecting him, was that middle Jedi, was that Syndralic, or we don't know who that was?
It was not, because interesting you mentioned that, because I looked in the video to check that out. The Jedi in the middle with the man bun looked like the battle master, the person who was in charge of teaching combat training at the Jedi Temple. However, the security video shown in Revenge of the Sith showed Anakin cutting that guy down himself. So this was somebody who probably was like, "Oh, I like that dude. I'm gonna do my hair like him." And because Jedi's got fanboys, everybody know that. That's not a secret.
True that.
So this was not
Jedi,
the battle master. This was likely, a fan.
and the Jedi do tend to connote rank with hairdo. That's kind of a thing, but I know what I got from that flashback with Grogu was Order 66. And I'm like, okay, yeah, he survived Order 66. Makes sense. He's an old guy. That's kind of a thing.
He's an old guy. He's like a old guy.
Well,
He's
he's older than us.
Like, I mean,
having to take lessons from this little high school kid who's barely 30. What do you know?
I'm actually curious, Solar, if you noticed this, because somebody pointed out in one of the videos I watched that as that Jedi in the middle died, his green lightsaber was reflected in the eyes of Grogu as Grogu is looking horrified from something that's enclosed. And as the green lightsaber falls and calls, so later on, when Luke flicks on Yoda's green lightsaber,
he was triggered.
There was a little flinch.
Yeah.
There was a flinch.
He's like, no, not one of them. Yeah, I saw the triggering, and I thought that was really good CGI, really good puppet work.
See, I thought the flinch was just because of like the force of it, like turning on. It's like oh snap! But I didn't even think. That green saber came through, killed a lot of kids.
Season 2 Mandalorian finale. When he's watching Luke on the screen, it's in monochrome, so he can't see the color. But when he comes into the room with the green lightsaber and switches off, there is a visible twitch from Grogu.
Yeah,
so it's like poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah, so it shows that Grogu has some PTSD suppressed in there to have him have some anxiety. The reason why I asked if it was Syndralic, because of what you brought up with Revenge of the Sith, because that clip is very specific, that they show that Anakin was slicing down Syndralic. And in the book, I had to go back to this book, Solar, but the book is a lot of detail in episode 3, how Anakin is doing his, tirade in there, and he meets Syndralic, and he was Syndralic's top pupil in episode 3, or, during this time in the academy. And Anakin is like, oh, snap, this is the top, defense Jedi here. I'm scared to fight him. But he was like, I'm gonna have to do it. So he used the dark side to just have a slight edge to beat him overall. So I was like, yo, wait a minute, how is he back in this? Are they retconning that? That's why I asked. But no, I mean, thank you for your information.
Yeah. Story group.
To everyone's credit, we know there's a story group, but we also got the sequels. And then I remember even Hannibal, you and I were talking.
The story group got overruled.
I was like, how much power does the story group have? Because I feel like they're a little willy-nilly.
They have a lot more now after that. I'll put it that way.
Oh, okay. So it seemed like one of them situations, like they were like, okay, you know everything, fine. Then the 3 happened. Then it's like, okay, are you finally going to listen to us? Are you finally going to let us do our thing? Okay, because I remember during the sequel time, I was like, y'all made a big, huge deal about the story group, and I feel like they're not being utilized.
Well, here's the thing. I know the names of people in the story group because I've researched them. Most people don't. Who doesn't know the name J.J. Abrams? The name is going to be able to beat it out because the hierarchy, and my friend who worked on Marvel stuff said this, there's a hierarchy at Disney. If you make money relentlessly with no hiccups and no problems, nobody can stop you. Nobody can tell you anything or check you in any way. So up until, even J.J. Abrams had to go on TV like, I ain't had no plan. I don't know what I was doing. So up until then, the story group couldn't say nothing to him. And then the second they were like, got a real nice franchise here, son. Be a shame if something happened to it. What you talking about? Come on.
So anyway, guys, we have been chilling, having a good time, but we are at time. So I'm going to throw it to your boy, Ryan. Final thoughts on the episode, where we might be going. I don't know what to expect. I mean, it's a good thing, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Don't know what to expect. We'll see. Final thoughts, and where can they find you?
All right. So overall, first of all, as the last two episodes, The Mandalorian and this most recent one, technically, and as a Star Wars fan, amazing episodes, beautiful episodes, matter of fact, to watch. For me, also as a consumer, it did take away from what I personally was expecting for Boba Fett and his story. But as it was, is pieces of the puzzle all coming together to what we're gonna have for the finale and where we put Boba Fett in the end. For this particular episode, they introduced 6 characters. Not necessarily saying they're wrong, but with Ahsoka, Cobb Vanth, Cad Bane, Grogu, all those people from The Mandalorian came back into Boba Fett show. So it seemed like a big melting pot of gumbo of this franchise that they're having, which I enjoyed. All in all, the episode in itself, I give it a 9. It was great. But as I said, it kind of got me taken back because it wasn't everything that I was expecting to watch. But if you want to know my thoughts more about certain things, movies, topics that I do have, my channel is The Nerdy Brew. You can find me on YouTube at The Nerdy Brew, and also on my Instagram at RJNerdyBrew315. I drink coffee.
What up? All right, and Solar Gray?
And I gotta say, do you practice these segues in a mirror?
I do not.
they're just coming so smooth, On this episode, it's put me in an interesting spot for this show. I'm partially hyped to see where the rest of this season is going. On one hand, like on this side of my heart, I'm like, I really hope this gives an explosion to have those last 2 episodes really tie this meal together to make it something that I want to revisit. And on the other side of my heart, I don't think they're going to thread this needle as far as the book of Boba Fett as this particular entry goes. And if they don't, I'm going to laugh. So either way, I'm going to enjoy myself. It's just a matter of which side. Now, with this episode, it's got a lot of story branches, which makes me curious as to why they're putting all this together. Okay. And I'm not talking about from a franchise point. I get it all from a franchise point. They wanted to let the audience know, hey, your favorite piece of merchandising is going back to the show that we know you love. Don't worry. And this is kind of a follow-up to the last episode. Don't worry, your favorite new hero is still going to get that torch passed from your favorite last anti-hero. So don't worry, be cool. This is like the singing the song to the screaming and crying child episode for me. For that, it still gives, hey, the kids start crying, you start singing, it's okay, we gonna be there soon. I know you're tired of being in the car, but when we get there, it's gonna be awesome. We're don't worry, Disneyland is not too much farther now. And on this one, I gotta say, this one went from 3 of a kind essentially to a pair. for me. This one went down to a pair. Of course, the production value was amazing. Disney don't have step on their stuff, but I was left. I didn't feel good after watching this one. You know, after watching last week's episode, I'm like, yeah. On this one, I'm just like, oh, Luke, oh, Mando, oh. I mean, I don't dislike Ahsoka as a character, and I saw a lot of my older family members there. You know, and I'm just like, Ahsoka, why? Why are you doing this? What? You walked away from the Jedi Order. Now you're talking just like one of them. Well, I guess we can only repeat what we know, right? And on that same note, I'm just kind of going, yeah. I mean, we know we all gonna watch the next one. It don't really matter what we think if we're trying to convince people to watch it or not to watch it. We can't do that. People are gonna watch it. You know, Disney puts crack in the airwaves, and it's just it's transferred from our TV to our eyes. I don't care what property they're working on. But all in all, this episode was like I said, I didn't feel good after. This one left me with a I didn't realize you were going to become such a jerk so quick. You know. But yeah, I mean, that's just the whole thing. You know, I'm big on lessons learned, character evolution at a realistic pace. And when it comes to those things, I see the importance of this specifically because we live in a world that takes what they learn in popular media and they take it as gospels and lessons in life, since we have a moraine of mentors. If you want to hear more about that, you can tune in to twitch.tv/BID_P Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific time, where we talk about all these nerdy things like writing, crafting, cosplay, D&D, role-playing games, and how using all of these principles to create good things can help you create the life that you want to live versus the life that you have. If you want a preview of that, you can always check out the archive over at Solar Gray on YouTube. And of course, our oldest archive, which is on soundcloud.com/BID_P.
All right.
See, I can do it too.
Next up,
I can do it too.
Next up, Hannibal Tapper.
All right, first of all, I see I gotta get my segue game together because players are not messing around no more. All right, that's cool. That's cool. No, that's cool. That's cool. It's interesting that both RJ and Solar brought up the concept of food in this, because the book of Boba Fett is like going over for Thanksgiving dinner. Every November, I remember going over and seeing the large spread of stuff laid out. In this very strained metaphor, Boba Fett is the turkey, and Fennec Shand is the stuffing. And I got plenty of that. We got plenty of that. But this episode, I got me some sweet potatoes, and I got me some green beans, and I got me, the green bean is Luke because of the lightsaber. And you know, I got a whole bunch of other things going on with this meal. It's becoming a comprehensive, filled out meal. So finally, next week, I'm looking forward to getting some pie. I'm looking forward to, you know, putting some ice cream on that pie, maybe, because I'm not really into dairy. But, you know, I'm looking at finishing off the plate and leaving nothing there, leaving nothing at all.
Man,
so
you just said the pie with the ice cream, though.
I'm only saying beware of pumpkin when you're wanting sweet potato. That's all.
Okay, fun story about me. When I was a kid, I would take the pumpkin slice and I would put it on top of the sweet potato slice and eat them both at the same time because I'm ratchet that way. But with all of these things in mind, this episode in particular, I focused very heavily on, ironically, one of my least favorite elements, which was Ashoka. That Din Djarin asked, he's like, how are you cool with this, with him teaching when you wouldn't teach? And she let out this audible sigh. And she says, it was his choice. And he's rolling with this. And then later on, she says, so like your father, which was not a compliment. Not at all a compliment. No.
Are you sure?
So I am sure, because Anakin was nobody that you want to emulate. Anakin was a fool from top to bottom. Another undereducated hick from the backwoods planet who was radicalized by a religious cult into being a child soldier.
But Ahsoka was standing Anakin like hard.
No. Ahsoka was standing Anakin until he betrayed her, until when she needed
Okay.
him to keep him in the order, he was not on her side. And that's why when he said, you know what, Snip, to use a little nickname or whatever, and try to get her to come back, and she was like, peace. And she rolled
that
out
was
on
shade.
it and said, Nan. Said,
That
I
was
don't want Nan in
shade.
this. Yeah.
Wow.
So it was, I again, I'm looking up, I'm up in the booth. I'm looking down at the whole field. I see what's going on. So, and I've got a plate and I'm about to give me some pie. So,
see, because when I heard that, I was like, that could be, when I heard that, I was like, that could be a good or a bad thing.
And she knew that in the very classic, from a certain point of view, the way the Jedi's do, and as she was trained, all of that, see, it rhymes. It's like poetry. So
you said the thing. You said the thing.
To put all of that together in a delicious meal is something I'm very looking forward to next week. I'm very excited about this episode. Just the same way that I enjoyed putting together my mixes on KQBH LP 101.5 FM, which you can hear Sunday nights at 11 p.m., as well as read my reviews on bleedingcool.com and hear them on the iHeartRadio podcast, Nerdorama with Mo and Tawala. As always, thank you for having me. Boom!
All right, so I will say something that I was thinking about when I said this could go both ways. Geeky Andre says, what about the times when Anakin was a hero? I will give Anakin this. There's moments through the animated series that we see that Anakin had a lot of heart. He was brave. He cared about people. Of course, that changed. We know. But that's why I said that statement could have went both ways, because Ahsoka was there for that. She was there for the Anakin who tried, who cared about people, that was brave, that always wanted to, protect and all that stuff. But then she was there for when it's like, I really needed you, and you played the fence. You know what I'm saying?
Can I even double down on that? Because people who talk about Anakin as a hero through the prequels and the Clone Wars and whatnot, as this hero, he killed robots that meant nothing to anybody, to save clones that meant nothing to anybody, to fight for planets that would be won by Palpatine in the end facility. The heroism that he showed was theater, was all poetry, and it rhymed again and again and again.
You know what? I gotta say, Mike, you're reminding me a whole lot of Daryl McMasters on this one. One of the pioneers.
I have no idea who that is.
DMC, bro, one of the pioneers of hip hop, who is into all this stuff. I would almost say like he is
Daryl
one
McDaniels.
of the many.
Daryl McMasters.
Yeah. One of the many.
Daryl McDaniels.
Yeah. Daryl McDaniels. My bad. But I mean that very much, like, just looking at that from the standpoint of somebody who grew up in the hood, I would say that that's very street geek, almost nerd soul. I would say that.
Thank you very much. And with that said, I want to give a big shout out to everybody in the chat. Big Pain, Eternity, Ever, Forever. I hope I ain't screwed that name up. Clever Little Vixen, Geeky Andre, Jenna James, VV that came through. I saw you. Antoine Allen, Eon 001. There's tons of people up in there. And whoever's getting y'all lurk on, look, there's a lot of little names. I might have missed it, but it's not on purpose. So my final thoughts are, I like this episode. The Jedi hurt my feelings because I always want them to do better, but I know that the way this timeline, they can't do better, because if they do better, then people are gonna be like, well, hey, why they screw it up if they was doing so good here? So I understand. It just hurt. But they did turn it around and give me some Mando, and they gave me Cad TMF Bane. But I was at the end like, oh snap, like they blew up the club, and you know what?
What a
we could
feeling.
spend 2 episodes showing Tatooine getting worse and worse as Boba did nothing, or seemingly did nothing. But hey, it's all good. I'm still enjoying it. You know what I'm saying? Because hey, on Thanksgiving I don't eat that much turkey, but please, if you can, stop by Bojangles and pick up a 16 piece. I say 16 because y'all got to get some food too. No, but, so with that said, I hope next episode we get not only Grogu, but someone else who's a hometown boy, might care about what's going on back home. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he comes back to say, hey, you know what I'm saying? Me and you won't never really cool, but I see you trying to do something better for my hometown. How can I help? Hey, look, all cards on the table now, because in the Boba Fett show, we've seen Grogu doing Jedi training, so all cards on the table. So,
personal foul to Solar. Personal foul.
Hey, I could have said I'm Veru's revenge, all right?
And I hope that we get a longer episode than we normally get, even though we probably won't. But I would like an episode that's maybe about 30 minutes longer, because it seems like there's a lot that needs to be tied up. But with that said, love all y'all. NERDSoul, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all them places. Hit that thumbs up if you like what you're seeing. Hit the thumbs down if you don't. But remember, all right, you don't want some dude walking through the distance. All right, come on with a hat on. All right, just put that thumbs up, because you never know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? We got podcasts, all that jazz. We're going to leave y'all with a whole bunch of dope black comics and SP, Elixir, Arcatron, PL Parker Lewis, all of them. So from us to you, thank you for watching. And of course, until next week, I really, really hope it's good. We out. Peace. We'll see y'all.
Finish him off! If you can't do it, then maybe you should let someone who can, like me,